by Monica Lennon. Mr Kerr.
Well, I think Mark Ruskell has done himself a great disfavour by misrepresenting the nature of the debate we had that was led by Tess White, because none of us were arguing against upgrading the national grid. None of us were arguing against that. We were talking about how it should be done, not whether it should be done. And I do think that increasingly, I listen to Green members speak in this chamber and elsewhere, it's going to take them a very long time to get over the demise of the Butte House Agreement. They really have to give up the sulk. In all honesty, I want to thank the whip-defying Maurice Golden for bringing this debate to the chamber. And it's not for nothing that Maurice Golden is regarded as the Parliament's foremost champion of green issues. And if I may say that the reason for that is because he knows what he's talking about. And he's even won awards for his green credentials, repeatedly actually. And so I'm proud to speak in a debate led by the award-winning Maurice Golden. Now, I may be the only person, I think I am, in the chamber this evening that voted the 2050 net zero mandate into UK law, and that was a world first. We talk a lot about world leading, but that was world leading. And I think I took the opportunity to speak in just about every debate in the passage of that through the House, because I couldn't rationally believe that anyone would not be in favour of clean energy, clean manufacturing, zero waste, clean air and clean water. And I still believe that, and I still want that. But you need to take the people with you. You can't just preach at people and impose unrealistic and costly change on them. And that's exactly, by the way, what I spoke about in those debates in the passage of net zero.
Bob Doris.
Thank Mr Kerr for giving way. Mr Kerr's talking about taking the people with us. The Net Zero Committee is the People's Panel, just 23 hardy souls. And the big thing they said is what turns them off and demotivates them in climate change is debates of this nature, where the tone is aggressive, where the tone is hostile and the tone is not constructive. Do you not think we all have to reflect how we conduct ourselves in this place to motivate wider society to take part and buy into the step change needed to deliver our climate change aspirations? Maybe there's something to reflect on, Mr Kerr.
Stephen Kerr.
I mentioned the word preach, and it was a cue, I think, for Bob Doris to do a bit of preaching at us on this side, for calling for pragmatism in the delivery of this vital target of net zero by 2045, 2050. So I am calling for realistic targets, not necessarily world-leading targets. I'm really not interested in that. What I'm interested in is realistic targets and a credible plan to go along with the realistic targets. And the whole reason that the Scottish Government was forced to drop its own world-leading targets, I believe, was due to a lack of realism. We didn't just land at that moment in an instant. If you keep missing your targets, your interim targets, you're not going to hit the ultimate or end target. And Chris Stark, has been mentioned, the chair of the Climate Change Committee, said that there would have to be a 9-fold increase in decarbonisation in Scotland for the Scottish Government to meet its legal target, and something he said was beyond credible. What we need is credible plans. We need realistic plans. We don't need attention-seeking, headline-grabbing. I will give way to the Minister.
Thank you very much. There's maybe an opportunity for me to say what we've said in other debates, particularly about Grangemouth. There's an opportunity in decarbonising Grangemouth, but keeping it as a biorefinery. That's about 33% of industrial emissions. Does he stand with me in calling for the regulations to go in place to allow that to happen?
Stephen Kerr.
I express an interest in supporting a look at those regulations, and because there's a food security issue that goes alongside the energy security issue, and there's a balance required, and that's an important consideration. So let me be helpful and positive in this debate by saying that I'd like to make a pitch for one area that we should make a real focus of in delivering a reduction in emissions, and that's housing. That will please the Greens to hear me say that. Because we need to tackle the shortage of good housing in this country. And we need to tackle the state of the nation's housing stock. Because that way we will tackle household emissions. We need to mobilise the innovative power of the private construction sector and set a skills agenda to build the upskilled workforce we need to get the job done. Don't cut housing budgets. Don't cut education and skills budgets. And especially don't defund Scotland's colleges. If we are to tackle these crucial issues that we have in housing across the board, we will see a dramatic improvement in the nation's health and well-being. That's a statistical fact. I mean, if this is one investment that will get us payback in so many areas. And to close, and to quote the late Roger Scruton, top-down solutions, he said, have a tendency to confiscate problems from those whose problems they are. And he said on another occasion, there's a tendency among environmentalists to single out the big players in the market as the principal culprits, to pin the environmental crime on those that make their profits by exporting their costs to others, including others who are not yet born. But this, he said, is to mistake the effect for the cause. In a free economy, such ways of making money emerge by an invisible hand from choices made by all of us. Individual choices, Presiding Officer, that's what all this ultimately comes down to. So both of Scotland's governments must work in cooperation and reward good choices. And we'll see
Mr. Kerr, please bring your remarks to a close. I must be fair to all the speakers.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
I'll finish the sentence. We'll see more progress by dint of the impulse of human nature to choose positively when incentivised to do so than just about anything else that can be done by government.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr.